in our series on oppositional defiant disorder. I put together two visuals here to try to understand the concepts that are discussed in the other videos that are a part of this package. The first visual is looking at ODD from the family structure. Now, what does this look like within the family structure? Are there any dynamics in the family structure that lead us to this label, and then what are the options for treatment? Every child has a sin nature, whether you call it a defiant child or a selfish child or an aggressive child or a disobedient child. That's a description of the sin nature within the child that every child is born with. Now that will clash if there's an unbiblical parenting style. I have labeled that sin nurture. Nurture meaning cultivating something. So if we have an unbiblical parenting style, cultivating an environment to where the sin nature of the child is not addressed properly to bring self-control and servanthood within the family, therein lies your clash. The nurture is fostering the nature is living within this unbiblical environment, and there is conflict. When that conflict cannot be resolved, when, say, parents do not understand that their style is contributing to the defiant nature of the child, when the sin nature of the child, when this defiant child doesn't understand the proper relationships and dynamics within the family, they are frustrated, and so they will go and see the family doctor. Sometimes this is fostered or escalated by the child's behavior at school, and the school psychologist gets involved. The pediatrician or the child's doctor, the family doctor, might do some background history, some subjective gathering of data, come up with a label or refer to a psychologist, and after some subjective testing, because there is no objective test, there is no cause for oppositional defiant disorder. That is a label, that is a category. It's like your street address where you live at. They come up with ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. Now at this point, when the parents hear this information, they are given two opportunities. I hope they're given two opportunities on how to best help the child and themselves. I hope you heard that. And themselves. ODD is not just about the child. It's about the nurture. It's about the environment of the home as well. One way of treatment is to follow the path of psychology. So we have the experts who tells us that our child has ODD, which is the label. It's simply a description of the child's behavior. From there, because we have a label now, through years of observation and experimentation of treatments, are presented a variety of treatments for the parents. It can run from medication to family therapy to relational conflict strategies, etc. The bottom line, and I picture this branch as a downward escalator, it leads to no real hope for change. We're just hoping that the child will exercise a little bit of self-control so the home is not so disruptive. If we decide and can present to the parents and the child the better option, which is God's Word, not psychology. God's Word is from God. Psychology is from man. God's Word is going to give us an accurate assessment. It is not going to give us a label. And because we have an accurate assessment, we are going to come up with some real solutions. Those real solutions lead to real hope for change. visualizing it a different way. The source of the diagnosis, you have two options: man as the expert, psychology, or God as the living word. We have the source of description, man's observations. Well, psychology tells us that somebody with ODD acts this certain way. Well, God's living word, He is the creator, and He describes for us accurately what is going on and what is taking place. God doesn't put labels on people. The source of treatment, man's experiments. The treatment options are experimentations to see if something will work. If this particular therapy doesn't work, then we will try this. If that particular therapy doesn't work, we will try medication therapy. God, because He is the creator and we're operating from an absolute standard, we have infallible truth that will work. The source of change, the best that psychology can do for us is coping. But God's Word, as the Creator, infallible truth, if people will obey it and submit to it, then there will be victory. Victory in the child's life, victory in the parent's life, victory in the home. What does this victory look like? Peace, joy, improved communications, learning how to resolve conflict in the family relationship. So the chaos and destructiveness prior to God's Word can be eliminated and conflict anticipated with a hopeful resolution, not just coping. There's more information on the World Wide Web at our location, www.mountcarmelmin.org. Be sure to take a look at the other videos on this topic.